Look back! This incident was caused by the idealist who dreamed of peace in the Earth system. The Delaz fleet uprising is clearly just one example. You needn't look at the drop of the space colony 3 days ago, which devastated the North American mass granary, to realize that our Earth is exposed to many different threats. So now we must look forward to the future and be strong and never look back again. The Earth. To ensure that this symbol of the universe is never shaken again, we have been reborn. The Earth. To return true power to its hands, the Titans now rise.
Mr. Bushido is a little girl.
Welcome to the BFS podcast. I'm Jonathan. My handle on BFS is Paptimus Prime.
I'm Reed. My handle on BFS is Hamicus III.
Joe, I'm sleepy.
Hello, I'm Tik, and my BFS handle is Takuya. Nice to meet you all.
Hello, I'm Carly, and I'm known as the Final Pam.
So, this is a special third podcast. The rest of those niggas have flaked on us, and we've replaced them with a chick and an Australian. So we upgraded exponentially.
Well, let's not talk about them, because I'm happy to be here. I'm a big fan of the show. I listen to every single episode of it.
All two?
All two.
All of them sounds better.
It's a really substantial sitting.
Episode
You couldn't
3.
let the compliment ride. You had to be like, man, you mean all two?
That's my job. Self-deprecation, even on our own podcast.
Jesus H. Christ on a cracker.
This is the special late September, early October cast.
Late September, nigga. It's October 13th.
It's Friday the 13th.
Oh shit! It's Satan's Day.
Sure is.
I gotta go lick a black cat. Hold on.
I gotta go look at Bible Black. Hold on.
Oh god.
So episode 3, we're doing something special. We brought on some special guests to talk about special things. First and foremost, Takuya is an amazing builder, great friend all around, and he recently participated in the GWBC.
GBWC.
GBWC? GCWBW?
The WB?
Something like that, yeah.
ECW.
And so we'll talk about that in a little bit. His experience going through the competitive scene, everything leading up to it, the preparation, the anxiety, actually being there and comparing your work, to other capable individuals, and get that whole experience from him. Should be a treat. First and foremost, though, we'll kick off with our designer piece. This week, Ham, who do we have?
We have the illustrious Kanetaka Ebikawa. This man has done his lion's share of Gundam. He's worked on Build Fighters, Age, and 00. So he's got a lot under his belt, and frankly, it's kind of hard to narrow it down to 2 between 3 series, technically 4 if you count Try, and narrow down 2 suits that I like the most out of an entire 4 catalogs of suits. So mine, here we go. I'm starting off because as my designer, I'm gonna start us off. Number 1, off the bat, we got the G Cyphus from a side story in Gundam Age, aka Pirate G Bouncer, aka Best Pirate Suit, aka Best Age Suit. Can you beat it? No. Do you love it? Yes. Do I love it? Yes. Does everybody love it? Yes.
I've never seen Age.
You're a liar and a whore.
I haven't actually seen Age either, but I
Oh.
do have that suit and I love him. You're correct. It is the best suit.
Yeah, see? Like, it's backed up by science.
I really like the G-Side. I mean,
My name is
I'm a
Science.
huge fucking Age fan, regardless. But it is a great design.
Why does a Gundam have spoilers though?
Why wouldn't it? It's a giant robot.
It makes it go fast.
It
The o-
doesn't make sense.
No, the only way it could go faster if it was painted bright red. Then that's too fast.
Don't you get it? It catches the slipstreams, Tick. It catches the slipstreams.
Nah, just not.
Okay, and suit number 2. This was hard. This was hard to pick because really it really came down between. I was like, let me not pick another Age suit because I could easily do that, and I was like, all right, it has to be Build Fighters or it has to be Double O. And as much as I have a bad habit of ragging on Double O and I don't like GN drives, Double O still has a lot of really, really good designs. And from Double O, the next suit that I'm picking is the Throne Zwei. Because if I'm going to pick a throne, I'm going to pick the one with the big-ass sword. Who doesn't love a big-ass sword?
Interesting
Apparently,
choice.
Michael didn't want it enough.
I wouldn't have pegged you to pick a throne. That throws me off guard.
Dude, I actually really like, well, I don't like the Dry that much, but I like the Zwei. I like the Zwei a lot. And the Arc is alright. But I like the Zwei a lot. The Zwei is probably, I don't say like one of my favorite suits overall, but probably one of my favorite designs from season 1 of Double O.
I mean, it's super unique looking compared to the other suits in the series.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like long on the bottom and thin, and then normal-ish on the top.
All right, who wants to go second?
I will. I'm gonna go ahead and just leave Build Fighters out of my top 2 here because they're all just based on other things, and I could go on forever about those. So I'm gonna go for my 2 favorites out of, Double O, which are 2 of my favorites in all of Gundam. So the first is the GN 004 Gundam Notley.
Did he die? Oh, there he is.
No, I'm here. So this thing, there isn't much to say about it. It's sleek, on par with the Exia. Loadout wise, it's got a shield and a gun and a beam sword. All day, I'll try and convince myself that the wire hair is functional, but at the end of the day, I'm just, why do the wires have to come out of its head like that? It's majestic, but it does have hair, so that's maybe the only design flaw, and it's also possibly amazing. It had some pretty good moments in the show, and I thought it was I remember being unspoiled on that, and it was kind of cool to see that there was another gun inside the bird chute. Aesthetically, the red and white is really cool. It contrasts the other suits pretty good. And I just like it. The other big one, and this one is probably more important.
I wonder which one it is.
It's also a throne.
Who would have guessed that?
Yeah. The Arche.
Arc.
Arc? Is it Arc?
Yeah. Arch Gundam.
I like that better. So this thing kind of, with the exception of Fangs, which a little cold on, it kind of takes aspects of the different aspects that I like of the 3 thrones from season 1 and kind of cements them into one. I really enjoy it. You would think foot blades were dumb, but it kind of just goes with the overall alien look of the suit. It's as we said earlier, the Thrones are very different from anything else in the show, and this one is amazing. And it's it's a lot of it comes from my liking of the character, getting to see the Ark fight two of them at once and hold his own against I think the Dynamis and or rather Lock-On and Tyria. It's just really good, really memorable. I remember seeing it and going, "Oh, I gotta buy that." After I found out that the kit existed, there were so many 00 kits that I just had no idea existed, even after I finished the show. And I was surprised at how much love the series had gotten as far as kits go.
Yeah, there's a lot of that with 00, especially the grunts. They're fucking impossible to find.
Yeah.
Prior to all the re-releases that just happened.
And when are we getting an Ingressa?
Never?
Yeah, probably never. So, when Nadley was revealed in the actual show, I happened to be eating Twizzlers at that time, and I can't unsee his hair being Twizzlers.
I thought you were going to tell me you started like weaving them into your hair.
Oh, I'm not that creative. I don't cosplay. I just run around naked, baby. Alright, I'm gonna go next. So, first and foremost, number 2 favorite suit of all time. It's really tied for 1, but I'll say it's number 2. The Age Orbital. This thing is super sleek. It's got fat legs.
Dick.
Yeah. Massive Sigmaxis cannon that shoots beam boomerangs. It's super sexy. I adore this suit. My only gripe with it is that it got such limited airtime on the actual series. But yeah, since the very first time that Age showed the orbital, like, I was in love. I was like, yo, you are fucking gorgeous. It quickly rose up to be my favorite. The kit itself is great. Super solid kit. If you guys have a chance to purchase it out there, I would definitely recommend it. It's also very nice to customize with other suits. My second pick, which I personally feel is the best design out of the entire 00 series, is the flag. Like, from a designer standpoint, I think the flag is the best fucking design. It's so unique looking. The transformation mechanism is super sexy. What else can I say? It's a fucking great suit.
Boo.
I have two questions for you.
Mm.
The first question is, because I don't know the first thing about Age, besides I think they fight dragons at some point. There's a lot of different suits with, the word Age in them. Is that all like the main character suit with different analogs, or is there more than one of them?
Well, there's more than one main characters, because it's generational, right?
And there's more than one Age suit. There's 4 generations of Age suits.
But I mean, is there more than one of them on screen at once? Is it different suits, like different frames?
It's different wears. Like, so the entire thing about Age is, like, you have, like, your, let's say the Age 1, right, which is the first Age that Flint, the first protagonist pilots.
Did you call him Flint?
Flit. F-L-I-T, bro.
I thought you just called him Flint.
I mean, he can be called Flint, Oye, Flinto. So as the series progresses, the Age machine is like, it basically reads battle data and then creates parts based on situations, what it can anticipate that would better suit the suit itself to combat its environment, and then those things come out as like parts that can be worn, very much like the strike. How you can attach the launcher, the sword strike, or the ale strike.
That's pretty cool. I kind of want to watch that show now.
It's great. It's honestly really, really good.
It's a good time. Favorite AU for me.
it always throws me off because since it was designed by Level 5, it has this almost kiddie-like approach. It's very...
It's very dark.
Yeah, it looks to be very kid-friendly, and it's not. It's dark as shit. Like, so many fucking people die within the first, 5 episodes. It's just insane. It's a great series.
Shit, the opening
Spoiler.
scene is... The opening scene of episode 1 is Flip in his burning house with his dead mom. Like...
Jeez.
Yeah, it ramps up pretty quick, but it's fantastic. It's fantastic.
I'd watch that.
All right, Tik or Carly, go ahead, do your suits.
All right, my turn. All right, so out of those 3 series, the only one I've seen is actually Gundam 00. So very logically, the first one I'll pick is Gundam Exia. Now, before I tell you about Exia, I want to tell you that the ones I like are actually the 4 Gundam Meister suits, because every one of them is so iconic, got their own style, characteristics, and all. And look at that. Look at Gundam Exia, for example. If you change the head design, it's basically something else. It's almost not Gundam, right? So if you're looking to shows prior to 00, the design is different and unique, and it's a big jump. And instead of a Gundam that used beam rifle, it just used a freaking Zords and daggers. So to me, it's a big jump. To me, it's unique. So my first pick would definitely be Gundam Exia, and well, to be exact, would be Gundam 00 suits in general, right? Can anyone agree with that?
I mean,
Yeah.
it going from wing with big scythes and the wings and whatever, and then IBO with giant mace and the forearms. Going into 00, you kind of look at an Exia and go, it needs to put some clothes on. So it is nice to see something a little more sleek and space magic-y.
Exactly right. So not going into those space dust shenanigans, but suit design wise, it's definitely brilliant. And after all, they got so many. They got Gundam 00, and then they got the 00 Riser, Quanta, and whatnot. But anyway, now the second one I'm gonna pick is actually Gundam Age. As much as I normally say bad things about it, I haven't finished it, but I actually talk about want to pick Gundam Age because it's kind of similar like Gundam 00's design, where they're sleeky, simplistic, yet iconic. But because Gundam Age has that kind of generation things where suits go past on, so it's very interesting where they put H1, the design, they make it so similar to the original Grandpa Gundam that we say, in terms of color, design, line art, and everything. You just can't say you can't relate it to the Grandpa Gundam. And yet, in Gundam Age, you would know they have 2 or 3 different loadouts for different situations. The Titus with the big hand, with the Spellows looks like a ninja. And look at all those designs, red and blue, and then combined to the main body. It just works well. You don't feel like it's weird. It's like, putting a different arm on there. Now it doesn't look like it belongs together, but it does. So on that matter, I do like it a lot.
Good choices. I like it.
I agree.
Did you also
Okay.
like the Liger?
Like as in the Zoids, or?
Yeah, because it's like you like the ones that are very variable, that kind of keep their same base design and then evolve through loadouts and armor.
I think those are quite neat design. Like in terms of story wise, is a main character, you can fight anywhere, can win anytime. And in terms of toys, you can give us so many stuff, so many playability. So yeah, I think this is definitely good. Liger wise, yeah, I haven't seen Zoids, but I've seen them here and there. I do like them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And am I picking a
Yeah.
third one as well?
Heck yeah.
Okay, my third one. It's hard to pick a third one because you pick a favorite one and you pick a second favorite, and the third one sort of is like meaningless. But anyway, the third one I pick would probably basically a lot of suits in build fighters that you'll see. Reason I say a lot of them is because a lot of suits you will see is based on the stories that existed in different series, the UCs and all kind of story, and they use those suits, they make variations, upgrades, or whatsoever. They make into new suits in a different kind of like a meta universe into build fighters. So I like a lot of them because they make something that I don't like in the old suit, making it something that's quite nice. So, for example, the Hyakushiki, the gold shiny one. Not that I don't like it, but because it's gold, so I kind of just against it. The gold is like screaming for you, hey, come and like me, but I just don't. Now, in Build Fighters, make it into Megashiki, which is like the purple violet-ish color with a really big backpack that can turn into a big cannon. That's beautiful. And the suit-wise, it's fun, good to build, easy to build, fun to play with, and you can get all sort of customizing idea. So Build Fighters is a great show. I haven't finished it yet, but yeah, I do like a lot of suits from there, and of course, Bear Guys.
Yep, and Neon is
Best
in
bear
here
guy,
to shit
China
on
guy.
them.
Now, see, we've got the right people here because they will reflect when I say Bear Guys. Bear Guys are good, right?
Bear guys are
No,
great.
I hate bear guys, but I love China guy.
There you go. I was about to yell
the
at you, but you get the China guy.
The context
China
of
guy?
that couldn't have been better.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Ah,
You see, we've got the right people here. That's good. All right, so that would be my pick for my 3 suits.
Does anyone notice how Taco cheated? And we're like, yeah, pick your 2 favorite suits. And he's like,
yeah.
well, my first favorite is all of the ones in Double O.
Oh yeah. Tick cheated immediately, but listen, he's a bad boy. He does what he wants.
Why did you elaborate, eh?
All right. Last but not least,
me.
yes.
So, golly gosh. Of all these, I've really only seen Build Fighters, other than the episodes that my boyfriend has made me watch of the rest, just on building suits from them. Let's see, my first favorite has to be the Shao doll, my first mobile suit, and I think I spent a good 3 hours in the store trying to pick out which suit to get first, and this is the only one I liked. And I didn't want a giant robot, I wanted a small robot. Of course. So I got it, right? I got it home, it was very easy to put together, and then when I actually watched the show, I liked it even more.
That's the grunt for mage, right?
It's
One of them.
just a little grunt, it's basically disposable. And it's super useful. People tend to customize the shit out of it. But you're right, it's just a grunt. But it's cute. Have you seen it? White? It's perfect.
Just a grunt. You tell that to that pilot's families.
I mean,
Is the Xiphos and the bouncer based on the Addo?
I don't think
No,
so.
the Cyphus and the Bouncer are based off of the Age one, because they come in. Well, the Cyphus comes in the 3rd generation, but the Bouncer is 2nd generation. It's based off the 1st generation Gundam.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the
Suits,
Shiki.
though. And of course, Shao Doll Custom. There's quite a few of them that are based off that base Shao Doll. GX is so good.
Good choice.
I like it. And then, so I really wanted to hate Build Fighters. I really, really did. And then I watched it, and I couldn't hate it. And I especially couldn't hate Best Robot. I wanted to hate that robot, But okay, so can we talk about the Catgirl version of Super Fumina? Because that is obviously the best version of Super Fumina. Not only does she kick ass, she's a Catgirl in a maid costume.
See, look at this. You hear this, viewers out there? This is how we feel about Super Fumina. We don't care about your opinions. Your opinions don't matter. Super Fumina is a gift to the world.
A gift to the world, especially when you want to hate it. Because let's be real here. Like, this is not. When you think of Gundam, you don't think of a cat girl. And yet here we are. I'm okay with it. I have 2.
I mean, but Build Fighters did its own thing. I mean, a lot could be said about, I don't know, take Steel 7, for example.
Suit. Take away the fact it is Catgirl, and it's not that bad of a suit, to be honest.
I mean, I enjoy all Build Fighter suits.
When I think of Gundam, I think of that Asian girl with the Dom. You know the one.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Alright, can I do a third? Can I just mention China Guy? Because, oh my goodness.
Let me just talk about China Guy.
Oh my goodness.
It's canon.
So,
It's
I hate
canonically
Bear Guy.
China
Can we
Guy.
be absolutely clear? I have never hated anything more in my life than I hate Bear Guy. For whatever reason, the entire line of suits just kind of creep me out. Except for China Guy. I'm probably gonna get 2.
Is because she's wearing it as a costume instead of
Yes.
like this anthropomorphic like
I think
mobile
that's
suit?
it. I think that's it because that's part of the reason I think I like Super Fumina is because it's almost like a costume. So instead of it being like this weird hypersexualized thing like Noble Gundam, right?
Right.
Someone wearing a costume, which I think is pretty cool. But when I see regular Bear Guys, it is kind of weird because toy, right? Because it's a little tiny bear guy, and yet it definitely could kill you if you wanted to, I guess. I don't know, I just find, like, regular bear guys kind of creepy, but China Guy, I just think is super cute. And bow. Who knows? But to be fair,
hear
regular
that,
bear
Tick?
guy has the giant bow, too.
China Guy.
I so
super
hear
cute.
it. But when are we going to tell Carly that is actually China Guy?
I'm gonna let her rock with China Guy for the rest of the podcast. It's canon.
I hate this! Why didn't you guys correct me? I hate you guys!
I shouldn't have said anything.
What the hell?
Yeah,
No, do you know what the worst part is? Me and Chris have been calling it China Guy.
he knows
Hasn't
too.
corrected me.
You know
This is
he
the
knows
long
that it's
con.
not. That's totally the long con. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Halfway through that, though, I started thinking about Arche Gundam. I was like, am I wrong about that too?
Well,
Yes.
here's the thing, right? Because
I'm sorry, now I feel like I've been super offensive.
you can say it arc, right?
Oh,
You can say
dear.
arch as well, but then in Tales of Fantasia, there is a character who spells her name just like Arch, but she is Arche. So it depends. I think it's up for interpretation.
I'm going to ask God.
I don't know, because I'm looking up, I'm looking, because I want to buy this suit, and it says China Guy. I'll even post it. There's no second G in this name,
It's pronounced
but it's China.
It's pronounced China. It's
I
the
hate
character.
this.
It's the
Why did you
character.
guys correct me? You guys are the worst.
Because it was funny.
I just did. Thank you very much.
Good job, Taco. Good job.
Oh,
Oh my god. Amazing.
All right.
This is
anyway, so that's my favorite mobile suit. Oh, look, there's a cute picture. Anyway, that's my favorite mobile suit that I've just apparently learned how now to pronounce correctly.
There you go.
So before we get to the
Balls.
feature presentation, the pièce de la résistance. Whips, boys. What have you been working on?
Nothing.
Whips. I built the T-34 Pravda tank from Girls in Panzer.
I saw that.
Pictures of it in the show notes. It's not a Gundam, but it was fun.
No, it was nice. It came out really nice.
I'm continuing my 1/100 Grays Mastercraft. Doing some fun stuff with that. Not gonna finish it anytime soon because the amount of detail I'm putting into it. But there'll be pictures of whips. Looking around, did a little more work on the Gray's Ein Girl, and I got another job. I work at Hobbytown now, so that's kind of like one big work in progress.
Will you ever actually bring home a paycheck, or are you just gonna spend it all on Gundam?
Yeah, I can live in the Gundam boxes.
Yeah, make a house out of empty Gundam boxes. Oh dear.
Ooh.
I mean, houses have been built with less, so.
Legos. There's an actual giant Lego house that exists. That's a thing.
Please tell me there's at least some sort of mortar in between the Legos.
They actually possibly clear coated it or something because it's weatherproof. So it's not like it's just. I guess they sealed it. They must have.
It's amazing.
I mean, it's Lego, what do you want?
That is
Rock
amazing.
solid.
The question is, when you're banging, does the sound travel through?
There's only one way to find out.
We have to test this experiment.
Road trip.
Yeah, but you've heard how bad it is to step on a Lego. Do you really want to risk screwing on some Legos?
Could you imagine having a Lego imprint in your ass?
My brain went to urethra first, but
Wow.
Oh.
What?
Lego up there.
All right, let's backtrack. A Lego imprint in your
Okay.
ass is just cellulite, which is okay. Personally, I don't give a fuck what kind of cell phone she got.
So, them work in progresses, huh?
Who works in progress
I'm actually
anymore?
building something.
Shock.
Yeah.
what are you building?
Okay. So, after months of not having any time to start on my Julia, and it took me a while to figure out the colors that I wanted for it, but I'm finally starting not just painting it, but layering it. I'm gonna try chipping. And I'm doing this weird thing where I want to get a rough texture with it, and accident kind of found out that my hairspray, if I layer it with hairspray and then spray it, it actually looks pretty cool. So I'm gonna try to basically make a diorama with this. I don't know how this is gonna go since I haven't done anything that aggressive before, but I'm hoping that it'll look really cool because I have basically a mobile suit that's parts that I'm kind of just gonna glue on the ground of this diorama and basically have the Julia stomping on it. So let's hope it looks
That
cool.
is just taking every boxes in my book.
Well, it's practice for gonna cut in half and drown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
that
all
sounds
for
good.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am all for this. I'm on board.
I don't have any picks right now, but IS coming soon.
I guess in that case, I kind of have a quote unquote whip. I have something that I'm probably going to get done within the next. Actually, it'll probably be finished by the time this podcast goes up. I'm going to make because it's that time of the year. The gym is out, and my desires are full and ready to embrace it. And being the man that I am, of course, AOZ has to touch its skin. It has to become one with the hive. So thusly, Titans Test Team Gym will be made this weekend. It will be the best thing to ever happen to anything. Trademark 2017. Don't worry, it's going to be great. You're going to see the pictures of it. Pap is going to be putting those pictures in now as you listen. You're going to be like, oh, I can't believe it. It's so, ooh. And I want you to, like, anybody who's in chat that's listening to this, I want you to tell me ooh, when either one of those, once you listen to this podcast. I have to know ASAP. No Rocky.
Way to go, Big Papa.
You did it. I'm proud of you.
Okay, my owls and wees ready for you.
All right, Taco, what you been working on?
Well, okay. I guess I'm carrying this segment now because no one's doing anything.
Oh, wow.
Yo,
Wow.
way to just shit on the last 3 minutes of him talking.
Oh, anyway, now I have done quite a few projects this year. So first of all, the biggest one I've done is for the GBWC, but let's not talk about that for now. Now, since we've been talking about the China guy, so I have been building. I've been building a China guy, and I repainted all the yellow pieces. So I basically just replaced all the yellow pieces and painted into a metallic pinkish color, just because I hate the yellow. It doesn't go well with the skin tone, but because there's a bear guy, so I guess that's why they did it yellow. But yeah, other than that, I did paint the skin color as well because there was seam line that I need to be filled on the thighs and the arms. So I repainted it. I painted the glasses and the bowl at the back, but I must say this kit is a beautiful kit. It's nice to build, much better than the Super Fulmina, because in case if you don't know, the mold is actually different. So this body is much more. I can't find a word. I don't think feminine is the right word because it just the shape is a lot better, and I just liked it. And so, other than that, I finished my most recent custom. So let me go and have a look to see what I did there.
It's so recent, even Tik doesn't remember.
It's so recent. So I'm not sure if you guys know, but there's a series of capsule toy called the Exceed Saku head. So initially, it's just a whole capsule toy turns into a Saku head, and I think they've got 2 or 3 series now. So I just recently got the series 1, and I took one of the Saku head. I think that's the black tri-style one. I primed the whole thing. I painted the whole thing with gray primer, and then I used some dark iron paint, so it's more like a black and brownish pink, to dab it on top with a bit of chrome silver, just to make it more like a kitchen bench. I guess the best description. And after that, I spray some clear red on top, so to make it look like a marble kitchen bench-ish looking. And the picture you're looking at now would be, you can see the black spots there. They have a bit of like some places it look a bit washed out, some places look a bit thicker, and that's because I actually thinned down the dark iron paint and dab it on. So when they flows down the curve, that's actually the natural inconsistency in there. And then I go a few layers of clear red on top to make it more a shiny see-through color, so looks like a bloody red-ish color. And of course I did painted the inlay and the camera as well. So I really liked it because I was expecting it to be a failure, but it turns out great, and yeah, I really liked it. So this is the most recent I finished. And in terms of work in progress, I'm sure if you're in the BFS server, you have seen it. It's a customized Dom Tropen, and I'm still working on it right now because it's actually for a Australian Facebook group contest, and the theme is military war machine. So what's better than Dom? So what I've done is basically I build up a high grade Dom Tropen, but I really don't like it because it's rather old and it's rather chubby, I guess is the word, and I don't like it. So I changed it. I used a high grade Shah's Origin Saku 2. I put the leg frame onto the Dom's hip, and I put the Dom Tropen's leg on top, not on top, but onto the Saku's frame. And then I also swapped the head and arms to the Dom R35s, extended the arms, extended the legs, plus a few plate details, styrene sheets detail on top of it, just to make it more modified. I also put a antenna on top of the head, so it's a pretty good looking thing. And I tried quite a few new techniques, like I using magnets to attach some of the pieces there, because that way I don't have to worry about pegs or whatever. You just put it there. The magnets do the rest. I put some shotguns on there for him. I custom made a bazooka for it, so it's gonna look great. The whole thing is primed, so hopefully I'll get it finished by next week or the week after. So yeah, and I'm sure you guys will see it on the BFS server or on my Twitter. So that's all I've got for now.
It looks real good primed.
You look
It looks awesome.
real good.
Yeah, I really like
And
this aqua
thank
head.
you.
I like the Dom. I really like how it's coming out. All right, so I've been busy as shit, but
Hang on. Can the name of this episode of the podcast be Takoya's Chubby Dumb Basement?
That doesn't sound half bad, I tell you.
that's pretty good.
Chubby Dom made by the China guy.
So
Oh no!
I managed to finally clean down the Juliet custom that I have. So she was ready for paint. I was ready to paint her last weekend, but it fucking rained the entire weekend long. So that pretty much blew my plans. But she's good to go finally. She's all cleaned up, nice and sleek. I'm really excited to finish her off. I've also been working on a custom Barbados, like the island.
I'll fuck you up. You say that shit proper.
The island of
Barbie
Barbados.
toes, right? Barbie toes?
Yes.
Barbados. Oh my god.
Yeah, so I'm working on a custom Barbados that I've combined with some suits. I took some pieces of the Julia cut up and added it as some armor. I also made a custom chest out of the actual Barbados chest, mixing it with the unicorn. So it's a very front armored suit. The back is supposed to be light to act kind of like a vanguard. It's pretty much ready to go. The putty work's all done. I think I'm just gonna touch up a little bit of details here and there before priming it, and then starting on the actual diorama where it's gonna go on. And it's been an ongoing project. This was supposed to be done quite a bit ago, but it's actually taken me quite a bit of work because of my lack of time, frankly. But it is, first and foremost, a gift for Ham's birthday last month. So I'll see if I can get that out to him as soon as I finish. And lastly, I started on our transformable build, our group build, which is I am doing a Masala with a Death Scythe and kind of mixing them together so that when it goes into the mobile armor mode, it looks more like a kind of like a pterodactyl with like a the Death Scythe, like the beam scythe, have that as a tail. So I started building the Masala right now, and then as soon as I'm done with the base kit, then I'll customize it from there on going forward and then swap parts out as I see fit. But that's finally fucking happening. That's all my works in progress. It's a lot.
I forgot about the transformable build.
Yeah, a bunch of people did.
That looks really awesome, though.
Main feature. GBWC.
All right, I'm awake now. Is it my turn?
God's
Lord.
black wealthy cock.
Jesus.
All right, come on, calm down, guys.
I'll come to Australia and fight you.
Well, come
Damn.
over. We've got lots of kangaroos and koalas that you can fight with.
To be fair, I think I'm about the size of a wallaby, so that might be okay.
That might be okay. You've seen the video of the guy punching kangaroo in the face.
God. Oh, no.
Have you seen the picture,
Kangaroos are
the video of the
terrifying.
kangaroo unhinging some dude's jaw, punching him in the face?
I'll just go for the birds, man. I want the bin
You
chickens.
fight birds?
No, you hug
That's
the birds.
rude.
So you recently entered the GBWC recently
Wait,
in
what?
Australia.
That's right. So in August, I think it was 19th to the 21st, I went to Sydney for a Comic Con. I think it's called Smash, and they held our annual GBWC qualifier over there. So unlike other countries like America, we don't have a few rounds of qualifiers. We've got one round, and that's the round it decided who's going to Japan at the final round. So I went there 2 months ago, and it was just an amazing experience. So I made a diorama as my entry. So for those who don't know, I made a diorama with a river going from the top left of the frame going to bottom right of the frame. Now, and then there will be a master grade Sakutu leg stepping into the river with a bit of water ripple in effect, the other leg on the ground. And in front of it, there's a master grade, a customized GM Sniper 2, kneeling on the ground using a beam saber, trying to slice the Saku in half, and the beam saber will be quite literally inside the Saku. And on the top right of the diorama, there's a big tree that I custom made out of garden wires and other foliage, and then there'll be 1:100 scaled human figurines on next to a tree trying to run away from the scene. So that's my entry. But in terms of the environment at the venue, it's awesome. We have about 114 entries this year, which jumped up from 70 from last year, which is a huge improvement. There are lots of people there, lots of different styles and inspiration, and there to go. So lots of us actually goes into the venue. We just hang around the display cases all day, and we just chat with each other, making friends, talk about how we do certain styles. So I did get to talk to quite a lot of models as well. So most famous one would probably be Joshua Dara, and I'm sure you guys would have heard of him.
I heard he kissed you on the forehead. Can you confirm?
Let's just say we don't kiss and tell.
Good man.
But no, well, if you don't know who Joshua Dara is, he's a guy that's magnificent with the chisels and scribe magic, and yeah, we talked to each other. And we actually knew in front of my entry, talked minutes and admiring each other's entry. That sounds somehow wrong, but look, it's a great experience. We talked about how we do certain effect, and it's just great. And a lot of other builders as well. We had a lot of workshops there to play around, get to know each other. So it's just awesome. And look, I must say, going to the GBWC is one thing. It's not easy because first of all, you're going to make something that's let's say is the best of your work, the best of your Gunpla career, and you're going to put it there. For me, I live in the Queensland, and Sydney's like about 10-hour drive. So not just I need to consider about the size issue, and I got to consider logistic. How am I going to fit it in a car? How is it going to survive the car drive, and then it's going to display without any problem? As much as I'm doing some battle damage and weathering, things broken, it's just not good, right? So I had to put it in a big plastic tub and just put it at the back of a car, drive all of 8-10 hours worrying if it breaks or not. So that's one thing. And we go in there to a room to set up the stuff before they take the pictures, and I realized I think I'm the guy that took the longest to set up because I've got 2 mobile suits, and then I got to make sure that the tree is sitting up right, spreading to the angle I want. So, but I see some admiring eyes behind me, the people who work there. And yeah, they were asking me how long I've done it, how long it took me to build it, which is great.
I personally really liked it. I thought the diorama was gorgeous, well done. It scaled really well with the mobile suits. The scene told a story, which is super important. Like, if you're making a diorama, it needs to tell some sort of story, right? You're not just putting two mobile suits on some sort of landscape because you just feel like it, and that's that. Like,
Yeah, it told the kind of story 0083 would have told if it didn't suck.
Yeah, this is correct, and thank you for the compliment, guys. So it is really important that when you're making a diorama, it certainly is telling something instead of just a clean, nice looking mobile suit standing there. Now, I'm not dissing about mobile suits being clean. I'm just saying that you got to look at it and you can sort of picture what's been happening, what's the story there, and those are the details that gives you everything. So in terms of that, I think I've done pretty well. Even it's just my first diorama that I ever completed. It's great, and people in this server has given me a lot of motivations. They've been cheering me up as well. So yeah, I definitely think if you want to further build up your skill, go to GBWC. If you can join it. There's no shame on winning or not winning. I didn't win. I'm not ashamed. But yeah, go in there to actually look at the entries, because nowadays, sure, you get the internet. You go to your computer, you can see all the entries, but it's just different. When you're looking at a monitor calibrated screen, it's just different from seeing the actual 3D thing in front of you. Look, you're gonna go there, you gotta stick your face in front of the glass and they're admiring how they do certain effect, and then you're gonna tell yourself, I have no idea how they've done it. And then you that's how you get inspiration, motivation to sort of know what you want to do, how you're gonna do it. And that's one more thing I wanted to mention is that going there, joining GBWC is one thing, but if you want to win something, it's on a completely different level. The reason I say that is, well, not I'm saying it. It's actually Mr. Kawakuchi who said it. At the end of the event, he actually went on stage and gave a little speech. And long story short, what he's trying to say is that he wants to see more creative entries in the future. So as in creative, as in like probably not recreating certain scenes, but you take Gunpla out of the Gunpla world and basically make something interesting, make something that people look at it and will say, oh, I never thought about Gunpla can be like that. So this is how I figure it out. And so yeah, this is what I figured out what he's trying to say. And join GBWC, please.
I can say, at least for myself, after you had come back from your trip, and obviously you were keeping us updated pretty much every day. After you came back, it was kind of like that motivation of just like, you know what? Why not? Why not try to push myself to that upper limit of whatever my abilities are? Because like now for me, I'm probably going to enter next year. Because for example, I've been seeing GBWC entries, I think every year for like almost the last 4 years now at Comic-Con, at New York Comic-Con, and it's almost like sometimes it makes me go, man, I could probably do well here, like legitimately. But it was to, I guess the holdup was, especially because personally, I think you're a far and beyond better builder than I am. So it's kind of like I wanted to get myself to a point where I thought, all right, I think I can do this now. And I think I'm starting to get to that point where I'm like, yeah, I think I can put something in and be proud of it, regardless of if I win or not. If I put it in and I'm proud of it, that's what matters for me, at least.
This is correct, and this is good mindset too, because if you're a competitive person, like if you want to go and try and win something, that's fine, go for it. Because if you win something, that's awesome. But even if you don't forget you've got like hundreds of people competing in one region. Say this year I've got 100 people compete with. You know, if you don't win, it's rather normal. It doesn't mean you suck. And don't forget, there's always next year. You go here, you go there every year. You learn something. You talk to the people. You actually talk to people and learn stuff, and it reflects on your gunplay. It certainly does. So go there, talk to people, and I think joining GBWC is sort of like it kind of makes you addicted to the thing. Like, because now I want to join next year, as much as I don't have any ideas yet, but I certainly want to join. And even my girlfriend now, she went there with me. She's sort of not that interested at the first place, but by the second day, she's the one that roaming around the whole place, enjoying the five, buying stuff, and then now she's telling me that she want to plan to join next year with me together. So bring your friends, go together, have fun. It's just a fun event to go to. Yeah.
So personally, like, out of the entire experience, what did you take out of it that you can say for yourself?
For myself, now first of all, I say the diorama makes pretty big. The contest has a requirement of no entry no larger than 50 by 50 by 50 centimeters. Mine is cutting it real close, 47 by 46. So the first thing right on top of my head is that next time, don't make something that big. Not just that it's hard, but second thing is, like I mentioned before, logistics. Like, I have the whole plastic box behind the car. I can't even bring my cosplay clothes. No, not that I report any, but you get my idea. So, and a third thing is, I don't want to make a large entry next year's, because when you make the entry really big, I find it kind of hard to focus, especially on the mobile suit itself. So if I go next year, I'll probably make something smaller, that maybe just a base enough to hold the gunpla, and so the focus will be on there.
Yeah, that's a good idea, because I know realistically the part that took you the longest was the diorama. Like,
Yeah, because I planned it to. I actually done the whole thing with exactly 6 months. So the first 2 months I've done the GM sniper, which I used for our server BFS contest, and then the next 2 months I made the Starco exclusively, and then the last 2 months I just used it to make a diorama. So time is actually really tight because I barely finished it, but I can see things I can do better. So if you plan to join, start today. Don't wait for 3 or 4 months before then to start, because I tell you, you won't have enough time. You just don't.
Well, and to consider, to your point, a lot of the winners at GBWC, like, their entries have been in progress for years. These guys have been working on this for at least 8+ months to 2 or 3 years.
That's correct. So, for example, let's bring out Joshua Dara again. His CDL Plus was actually a work of 2 years. He was trying to join last year, but he didn't make it. So he actually made use of the second year to actually perfect it, make it even better, join it. And I've seen lots of people who just started maybe 2 weeks before, a month before. Now, not that I'm calling them anything, but you can certainly see how time management is an important thing. So bear in mind that going to GBWC is more than just building a good model. It's so much more real world factor that changes it. So, like I said, time management, how many hours can you put in every week to make progress? And you got to plan it earlier, because what if something fails? What if some mishap really happened? You're going to start the whole thing again. Like, it happened to me. I made the first diorama, but halfway there, I wasn't happy with it. I don't know what to do. The color's not right, the texture is not right, and everything's just not right. I'll throw it away and just not look at it. But thanks to Jonathan and a lot of other people in the server that pushed me to make a second one, and so I make a second one, and which turns out much better, because with the experience I had the first one. So give yourself more time and do more research.
and in the vein of Josh, For example, I would say if you're going to enter GBWC, make something you're proud of, not something that you think is going to be exactly what the judges are looking for. Because, for example, 2 years ago, Josh won the GBWC with his Sinanju and
Unpainted.
unpainted,
If,
unpainted,
as far as I know, yeah.
just detailed. And this year he entered the Zeta Plus, which is arguably leaps and bounds better than what was already a very good suit. So, and didn't even place, if I'm correct, right?
That's right. Unfortunately, he's in place this year, but because all the other entries are brilliant.
And that's the crazy part, is like he put something he was proud of, and that's why I'm sure there's because I'm sure for everybody, right, there's part of you that goes, I wish I won that, but I'm sure he was proud of his suit, and it's a matter of being proud of what you put in, not looking to woo the judges the best way. Like, you want to put something in that you go, that's something that I like and something that I'm proud of making.
I very much agree with what you said, because if you want to be strategic, that's fine. But like I said, it's going to be completely different level. You're going to consider all the marking criteria and stuff. But especially with first time joining, make something you like, do something that you're familiar with, and make something that you're proud, because you're just going to prepare that you're not winning. And because look, it's just a majority of it. There's only one or maybe three winners, so it's very high chances that you're not going to win. So make something that you're proud of, and talk to people, like I said before.
These are really, really good tips. And with that, what is one tip that you haven't mentioned, or maybe that you have mentioned, that you would have given yourself at the start of prepping for GBWC? Like, if you can go back in time and give yourself one single tip.
Start early is probably the best gift I can say, because look, the second best time to start your Gunpla is today, but the best time is probably last week. So if you want to do something, start it today, because you don't know how many times you need. Because when you start making something, you might realize, oh, I have more ideas now. Oh, there's more things I can do now. So give yourself more time. It's definitely what the best tip I can give you.
That kind of goes back to like the tip we're always giving new builders, and it's just do it. Just start. just get in there and do anything. Just put something together and then go from there.
That's right, because if you don't build, you never know what's going to come up. I can say I can build something with a full of LED, with magnets and whatsoever, but it doesn't happen if you don't start doing it. So just do it. Not sponsored.
Well played.
I hear most of those shoes are made in China anyway.
I hate you. I cannot believe it has been months, you guys. I have said this to you multiple times, and y'all just... That is a long con.
The longest.
I'm betrayed. China, my ass. China.
Oh my god. All right, we're on to the second to last topic, a topic that actually both of our guests are very familiar with: weathering.
Heck yes.
I thought you were going to say young brown boys.
Oh.
What?
Oh. Taco, are you familiar with young brown boys?
Do I really have to say something?
How that would apply to me.
All right. So, are we talking about weathering now?
Yeah, boy. Give some weathering tips.
Wow.
All right.
Tell the kid.
It's like my...
I want to get... All right. So I just started building Gunpla. I want to take it to the next level, right? I get a few painted builds down. I want to get into weathering. I think it's pretty cool.
I like how you say you want to take it to the next step, because normally with weathering, people would say is taking a step back.
Not at all. Good weathering is not only advanced techniques. I know because I hand paint. It makes it look realistic. It can fit various eras, depending if you're doing a diorama.
It's honestly great for covering up mistakes too. Like if you absolutely just ruin something, you can put weathering over it and it'll look awesome.
Granted, and ultimately, if you weather, that can make or break your suit. Like there is no in between. It's either great or it's awful. Let's pretend I want to get into weathering. So, where should I start?
All right, so
Hit it with a bat, and then glue it back together, and then paint along the cracks. And say it was on purpose.
In all seriousness, yeah. No, so thing that I found was making nicks and scratches. If you are beginning and you don't want to spend like $12 on like a tiny thing of paint, so fingernail polish is actually really good. Makeup, so like dollar store brown makeup, truly, and it sounds stupid. It's especially useful if you're using spray cans, which you probably are, because who's going to buy a $150 airbrush kit right off the bat? I know for me, I still use the whole, I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and make little tiny bullet holes by spinning it around, and then very carefully scraping the surface, sanding it, scraping it, and then rubbing makeup all over it. And you have to be careful, because if you smudge it on all over the suit, then it looks awful. But using like one of those very pointy Q-tips or even a makeup applicator is perfect. And it's super cheap to do, which is useful because you don't want to spend $300 like your first day. That's all I have.
I can't believe how much I learned from you.
All right, first I dip my mobile suit in brownie batter, and then I throw it on the floor and let my dog eat it. Boom. Then I top coat it. I'm over here now.
And then?
That's it.
No, and then you post it on our Gunpla and say that your girlfriend thinks that it's real, and you get 500 upvotes.
And they're like, Andrew Dice Clay, aren't you dead?
The Dice Man cometh, baby. Interesting, Taco. You also use makeup, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. So there was this one time I was walking around in the shopping mall with my girlfriend, and then we saw this shop that sells like dollar makeup. So I thought
From
that
China?
might be useful.
Makeup from China?
Highly likely they're made in China.
I hate you.
Yeah, no. So I picked the one that's matte, because some of them actually have what do you call that, glitter in it, and you know, I mean, who wants glitter in your weathering suit? So I bought the matte one, and surprisingly, they work really well. So that's what I've been using, and from now on, when I go to shopping centers, I actually go to drugstores and makeup stores and look at stuff.
Fantastic. Now, yes.
Tape too. Don't want to get makeup on a specific part or paint or whatever the heck you're using, because you can use ballpoint pen or gel pen, and if you rub it with your finger, it gets the effect of rust depending on what color you're using. But if you don't want to get it on a certain spot and you don't want to lift up the paint you've just put down, if you use Scotch tape in little tiny strips, you can actually direct is going to look. And it's also good if you want to make cool effects, but you don't want to spend $12 on a pattern, like a pattern palette thing, and you don't really have any masking tape. Scotch tape wrapped around stuff works awesome.
That's a really good
Cool
point.
hands.
I guess I can contribute.
Don't damage anything either.
So I once screwed up a Gray's build and started weathering it to make up for the fact that I screwed it up and still wasn't feeling particularly great about it. So what I did was I wrapped it in firecrackers and lit that motherfucker up. And you do kind of want to do it in a sealed box if you can, because it won't break your model. It will knock small pieces off, though. And then after that, all it needs is like a top coat. If you increase the concentration of the firecrackers on a certain area, instead of getting like score marks and buffs, you'll get like a slight burn, and that's actually really cool in some places. There's some pictures I'm posting. You can see where like on the barrel it gets a nice carbon scoring. And that's another way you can weather, is you leave it up to fate. You know, where the explosions happen is where that weathering is.
Amazing.
I'm trying to think what else was super handy. Don't forget to, if you're really careful, you might not have to sand them. And this doesn't necessarily have to do with weathering, but it kind of does. So if you're lazy and you're like, I don't care about nubs, I'm just going to let them be whatever. That's cool if you want to weather something, because you can actually take sandpaper and fuck that area up completely, put some brown stuff on there, or gray, depending on what kind of look you want. And use that as a guide for your weathering. I actually did that with one that I totally messed up because I forgot like half the nubs on its body, and I ended up just giving it giant rust spots. You can also use your X-Acto to dig out plastic on the nubs, so it looks like they're pockmarks almost. So just helpful hints, if you screw up, it's okay, because weathering can generally fix it, unless you actually want to light it up with a firecracker, in which case, use Joe's hints and tips.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also recommend that you go out and Google or YouTube brushing techniques, specifically dry brushing, wet brushing, feather brushing, and learn how shades work. They work wonders for weathering. It's, if you can get a nice blend and a nice gradient in how the shades work and how you dry brush layers upon layers, you'd end up with this magnificent weathering effect.
Correct, yeah, because with weathering, a lot of times they enhances your edges and panels. So like Carly just said, like you really have to go clean up your knobs or go decide where your battle damage is going to be, because if you do your weathering right, those little panels will get enhanced so much. You'll give it a whole sense of weight, and you'll give whole Gunpla a backstory and much more realistic looking. So on top of the gel pen trick that Carly just mentioned, I would like to say pencil. Pencil is a really good
awesome.
household tool to use. So like the Gyan that I've made earlier this year, I have sponged the edges with Tamiya enamel paint, but after that I actually use a pencil to run along the edges, so the lead powder in there will actually give it a dark but shiny finish on the edges, so that will give it much more realistic looking. It looks like your Gunpla had the paint chipped off and sort of exposing the metal color, but on top of that it looks like the metal part has been exposed for long. It has been dirty up already, so that's already like 2-3 steps saved just by having pencil in your hand.
Good tips, guys. Anything else you wanna leave with? A final thought on weathering?
Have fun with it. Don't be afraid to cut whole pieces off if you want to do something and you're like, well, it's really battle heavy, let's mess this Gundam up. Go ahead and do it. A lot of the times it looks really, really cool. And even just a little planning goes a long way. Like Taco was saying, if you're careful with it, it can enhance the whole look. Matte coat on top of weathering and then doing some more weathering looks awesome. Um, it really just depends on the theme and the mood of your Gundam kit. So, I don't know, just have fun with it.
Yeah, it's either have fun or not saying not having fun is wrong, but how I do is I did lots of planning. Like when I going to sleep, I actually think about how my Gundam is going to walk in the field, and then I think about every single scratches, where they're from, what they're made of. Is it the pilot being clumsy, kicking into something? So I take those into considerations, and I make all those parts a sort of like a different textures, so they have a different finish, so you can tell it has been to different places, done different things, and you can tell it's not a one day's work.
Yeah, those are all really solid tips.
I mean, in this hobby, don't be afraid to fail. Like, don't be afraid to fail. If you
Just do
fail,
it.
if you fail at something, all that means is that you're gonna get better next time. You learn from your mistakes. Keep moving forward. And if you want to aim your sights at GBWC and you want to aim even higher at possibly placing or winning the event, keep going. Use your failures as stepping stones to better yourself. Do research, learn new techniques, have support groups, Gunpla groups. There's plenty out there. This Discord is great for any builder, really, of any skill level. So, my favorite part of the podcast, user questions.
Ooh, all right. What's
I'm
up?
hype about this.
All right. We'll start off with Tenta Grape asks, what's the most iconic song in a Gundam series?
Ooh,
I
I'll go
want to
first.
have a good
Oh, no.
time.
Oh God,
Oh my god. Tenta.
what have you started, Tender? Look, I'll go first. For me, the most iconic song is definitely the first opening of Wing Gundam. Is it called Just Communications?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's simply because that was my first Gundam I ever actually saw, and every time like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I'll just sit in front of the TV, let alone homework's done or not. I'll watch that and hearing the song. So for me, that's definitely most iconic, followed by G Gundam.
Interesting.
For me, God, most iconic. Yeah, you know what? I won't, because favorite for me would be different from iconic. Most iconic is probably Silent Voice. Silent Voice, like, that is like, it almost, and the juxtaposition between it and Anime Janai is so different, it almost signifies the change 25 episodes into Double Zeta.
Yeah, it really does. It really does.
Like, it goes from this, like, kind of jokey, still with a little bit of serious, but mostly jokey serious, to shit's about to get real, get ready, hold your seat, it's time.
Yeah, I had to open my big mouth, but I'd say it's probably true. God, what's the name of that song? The one from Zeta. The first OP from Zeta.
God, that's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know what the name of it is, but it's the one I was singing. And yeah, so I'm unspoiled on most of UC. I'm up to Unicorn now, watching chronologically. And, you know, you got your 0079 cheesy anime opening, and it's great, but then you get to Zeta, and you know, that kind of jazzy guitar comes in, and you're like, oh, what is this? And it's a totally different thing, and it's a lot of fun.
See, when I watched Zeta, it had the when I first watched Zeta, it had the symphonic opening.
Really?
And that to me is more iconic than the vocal song. But if I had to pick an absolute iconic song from all Gundam series, it's Gallant Char, hands down. The minute that doom 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 doom, oh, that's Gundam, baby. Yeah, I'm in it. Let's start popping and locking. I'm good.
How
I don't-
old are you guys?
I don't know if I know
seriously?
any of those. The one that
See?
comes to mind for me is I love Thunderbolt, and so the Draining Girl in Me, it's the jazz song that they open with, I think, is like immediately what comes to mind. But it's also my favorite series, so you can't really count on my opinion.
I was listening to Gallant Char just now. Which was your favorite?
Huh?
Which one are you talking about?
Okay, so I'm gonna link it. So Thunderbolt had this awesome jazz soundtrack, and whenever I think of Gundam, I think of that soundtrack specifically. Specifically this song too. I think me and my boyfriend binge watched the entire series in one night.
I can believe it.
Yeah, yeah.
45 minutes long, and then you both went home. Oh, this song. Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I recently watched season 1 of Thunderbolt, and it's depressing. And that song is really, really fitting.
It really is. All right, question number 2. What is your favorite non-Gundam mecha series?
Code Geass.
Wow.
Whichever Zoid series.
Zoids.
I lied. Vandred.
See, I like Vandred. I wouldn't put Vandred as my favorite.
I remember the first time I saw anime boobies.
I'm sure you do.
There was also big robots.
But
Wait, I feel like we're forgetting the best one, Big O.
Oh, yeah, I
Big O is
lied.
hands
It's Big O. That's the answer, isn't it?
oh, damn.
Yeah, it's hands down, it's the
That
best.
Never
was the
mind.
correct answer.
I want to change my answer to the 1950s Gigantor with Dick Army.
Giganto the giant
No,
robot.
overruled.
Ugh.
Overruled.
Dude, Gigantor is great. I would probably have to say... Man, I really want to say Big O, but I'll probably say Gurren Lagann.
See, there you go.
Okay.
That's my favorite too.
These are all really good.
They are.
And last question from Tenta. What would win? Jesus Yamato's God Complex or Char Aznable's Love for Lollies?
What the
Well, Char's love for Loli's transcends time and space.
Yeah, Quest really is best girl, isn't she?
No, let's not go that far.
I don't know how I feel. That's my boyfriend's favorite character. Oh
Wait,
dear.
wait, who? Quest
Char.
or Char? Oh, okay.
Listen, he has some questionable taste. Let's put it that way.
I mean, he is dating me. That's pretty questionable.
Char's great, man.
You know what? I'm going to go for Char.
I
Yeah,
like Char.
I'm gonna go for Char. Kira gets really bland later on.
He does. That he does.
Isn't Kira the not main? I haven't watched Seed yet either. Isn't he the not main character?
No, he is.
Isn't he the rival?
No, he is the main
He
character.
is
Oh no, that's
100% the main
Athrun,
character.
right?
He is Amuro.
Athrun's the other one.
Yes. Athrun
Okay.
Zala.
Okay. A question from RX. Who is the craziest Gundam female?
Nina.
Ooh.
Really?
Yeah.
Craziest? Katajina Loose, bro.
No way, Lady Un.
I don't think Un is crazy. Dude, Katajina is fucking nuts. Like, insane. Literally insane. Like, Tomino's notes for her were... I didn't kill her at the end of the series because I felt that giving her life would be a better punishment for her.
But is that a punishment for someone who is, say, literally crazy?
I don't know. Tomo's crazy.
Can I also say Rekua? Because she is unwell.
Rekua is something
Maybe
else.
that's too controversial.
I think
but-
Rekua is something else. I want to say she's crazy, but fucking A, bro. Like, maybe she is.
Tune in next month for the Rekua hate cast.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. I put Nina there just because Nina's like, she's almost like borderline sociopathic.
She's rough, man.
Eat your carrots, Ko.
Like, she basically pit the two guys that she's fucking against each other in death machines.
Yeah, she does. And she
That
chooses
sounds- I
Gato
would-
too.
That's really admirable. I'm about that life. I want boys to fight over me in death machines.
With nukes.
Yeah. Let's Helen of Troy this.
Hey, you said that question was from RX?
Yeah.
Hey, doesn't RX also have a fantastic Gundam store?
Does he?
Why, yes, he does.
Is this true?
Is.
And where can I
And-
find this fantastic store?
You can find that fantastic store at wizardstowergames.com.
And in all seriousness, his prices are actually really low, and it didn't take a bajillion dollars to ship it to my house, which is a plus because sometimes shipping can be like $20. There's always that.
Plus, he's friendly. His customer service is A+, and the fact that you can actually talk to find out where your order is absolutely great.
Another one of the great perks of being in BFS.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Next
Actually
question.
has like some sort of sale going on too.
Omega from BFS asks, given suits in Seed have a near invulnerability to physical damage via the phase shift armor, and the nanolaminate in the IBO universe have near invulnerability to beam weapons, between the Lupus Rex and the Aegis Gundam, which would fare better in a fight? Given that they can use anything at their disposal, anything that they naturally have at their disposal.
Moonlight
Fight
Butterfly.
in orbit or in space. IBO suits can't fly.
Let's say space.
Okay, that's. You definitely got to go with anything in Seed is going to beat anything in IBO, just because technologically we're dealing with ballistics and bullets against lasers, and I know they're weaker, but
Actually, you know what? I was thinking about this earlier. Realistically, I guess the Justice would win more so because the Justice has missiles. So the Justice has other weapons that would actually be able to damage the Barbatos. So it's like the Barbatos really doesn't have anything besides physical weapons, and physical weapons don't work on phase shift. So until the power runs out, like I guess you could say, okay, once the power runs out, he could probably beat him. But before that, he's probably going to get rained on with missiles. But you could argue AV. I don't know. That's an interesting thought. I feel like I can't actually call like a definitive winner because there's so many factors that would have to go into the fight.
I think the ultimate factor is, does AV beat out Seed?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know if you want to apply weaknesses from one to the other, but suits and IBO were always running out of gas. And I guess in Seed they have future technology where it doesn't quite happen so much. I don't know. Do they run out of gas in Seed?
Well, the first Gundams do, but one of the specific things about the Justice and the Freedom and the Destiny and the Strike Freedom and the Infinite Justice are that they run on nuclear engines. So they basically do have almost infinite energy. So yeah. So realistically, his phase shift would go forever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So that's enough. If you consider that's an uphill battle.
yeah. So I think against one of the original 5 Gundams from Seed, the Barbatos could probably win. But against like freedom or justice onwards, probably not, because those things have too much power. You would run out. He would run out with the Barbatos before he could even really put a dent into the suit.
Unless they did that IDO trend, and for every Gundam for every seed character the Barbatos slayed, they kind of cannibalized parts and upgraded the Barbatos as it went. That'd be cool.
Like Nickel's piano.
All right, and last question from Hero Tech. What Dragon Ball Z power levels would each main character at Gundam have?
Over 9,000.
All right, that's it. Podcast over. It's done.
That's it. Over 9,000. Like you can't compare Amuro
No, I
with
mean,
Camille.
no. That's. I mean, am I wrong though? They'd have over 9,000.
This is true. They stopped measuring after that.
Like Amuro's like Nappa, right? And Camille's like Super Saiyan 3 Vegeta. And then Judo's like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta.
And Sirocco is like, who's that cat god guy?
Beerus?
Yeah, he is. Sirocco is like the most legitimate space wizard in Gundam.
Nah, Shiraka's more like Frieza.
He's pretty.
We don't know what he could have done if things hadn't happened to him.
Things?
Certain things.
In all honesty, like, the only reason he lost that fight was because of mobile suit magic. Mobile suits just don't fucking inherit the souls of the dead and just power you up.
Yes, they do.
Even the biosensor doesn't work that way.
It's happened so many times now, it's obviously canon. It just works like that.
Hey, Ham, wasn't there a thing we wanted to talk about at the very end of the podcast?
Correct. I have a thing to announce. It's really a trend with the podcast. So I know it might seem early, but it's that time of year. It's time for BFS's annual Secret Santa. We do this. This is our third year now. It's been pretty successful the last 2 years, and since we're getting a little bigger, we have to tighten things up a little bit. So first things first, all of the list for Secret Santa are going to Neon. So PM him directly if you're planning on entering. Baselines. The price floor is $25. This is before shipping. So whatever you buy somebody has to amount to $25, and it doesn't matter if, for example, you have a currency where for you it's $40. If it's not $25 or more, because you can always do more if you want to, but it has to be at least $25. From there, you're just gonna make your wish list as normal. Put on suits that you like. Try to keep it within the modeling aspect. So you can do Gunpla, you can do tools, you can do some Kodo kits. Like anything along those lines is fine. We have a new section, special suggestion, which is like you basically kind of put like, I'd be interested in like detail parts, or I'd be interested in decals or weathering tools, and it's just a little something that maybe your Secret Santa will do or not for you. You know, it depends on the person, of course. You have a do not want list as always. Make sure you don't make your do not want list like extensively long. Like throw whoever you're getting a bone so that they have a little bit of wiggle room with whatever they get you. You don't want to make your do not want list longer than what you want. And then also as well, for your wish list, you are only allowed 2 P Bandai suits. Last year we had a decent number of people with like 6+ P Bandai suits, and there was a lot of P Bandai suits on a lot of people's lists, and to the point where some people were having trouble literally just finding 2 things that they could afford off of somebody's list just to fulfill it. So just make sure that you're following that. The deadline to give Neon your list and all that stuff is October 31st. After October 31st, we are not accepting any more entries. If you miss out on October 31st, that's it. That's the deadline. Make sure that whatever you're ordering for your Secret Santa, for your receiver, is going to be out before November 31st, because that is the deadline for your gift to be out in the mail. We want everybody to have their gifts before Christmas, well before Christmas. It's a very important thing that everybody is getting things that they want, and everybody is getting presents that they deserve if they are entering and they are reciprocating. We have 2 special links. We have a link from Banzai Hobby, provided by Blaz, and we also have a link to RX's store with a discount code for the Secret Santa. If you use the discount code HOHOHO on orders of over $25, you're going to get, I believe, like a 10 to 15% discount on the order. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it for that. If you're not in the server currently and you're interested in joining, just come pop on over. We're more than welcome to having new people join for this. You can shoot me a message, you can shoot Neon a message. Either of us can tell you what's what and help point you in the right direction. That's it.
All right, play us out, China.
Do you not want to do plugins?
Lord.
Oh yeah,
plugins, that's right.
keep this in. Keep it in.
Guest first. Go ahead, Tik, Carly.
Yes. Hi.
Plug your stuff. If you have a Twitter, a Tumblr, Flickr.
Well, I do have an Instagram. It is Degenerate Magical Cat Girl, and
Amazing.
it is yes, and it is usually full of either bird watching or Gunpla or my face or my boyfriend's face. If you like any of those things, feel free to follow. I also. And if you don't like my face, I guess go fuck yourself.
I like your boyfriend's face.
You should. He is a beautiful, beautiful man. I'll post a lot of in progress pics, so if you're interested in seeing something like that, you should look at it. Thumbs up. Yay. That's all I got. Oh, other than RX's, so Wizard Tower Games is actually pretty awesome, and you should definitely go there. It is one of the very few places that give me a decent price, since I am in the ass end of the universe. So I highly recommend it.
Wow, someone offers to get paid over there.
I would love to be paid. I accept cash and credit.
Alright, so for anyone, if you would like to follow me, I'm on Twitter. My handle is @TakoyaBuilds with the S at the end. So I post mainly Gundam stuff on there, so see my work in progress, whatever funny stuff that I'm going to do. Not that it is funny, but it's like interesting techniques that I do. It may be on there, and I frequently post them on the BFS server as well. So if you go to my Twitter, there'll also be links that go to my blog and my Tumblr as well. So see you guys there.
All right, we are More Materia Company. We specialize in Gundam customs and other Playmo stuff. That's More Materia Company. You can find us at MORMATERIA, More Materia. Advancement through Gunpla.
I'm Sumo Fatty Son on the Twitters. I post when I actually finish things. You know, I'll post finishing pics. I don't really like doing whips. I'm not a whip guy. I just kind of like getting it done and putting it out there. Otherwise, you can follow me for all the ins on Black Twitter. You'll enjoy all the various jokes that you probably can't laugh at because a lot of them have nigga in them. So you'll feel guilty depending on your color. So, if you're into that kind of masochistic comedy, come on over.
You can find me on the Twitters at Mr. Paptimus Prime. You could also follow us on Twitter at BFSGTT for the Gunpla test team. Any final thoughts before I close out?
That's the name of our podcast.
Oh, amazing! I think that's the only way we can end this.
This is the Gunpla test team signing out.